Hey guys, it's Steven. If you are looking for simple and you don't want to get stressed out in the morning at the open, you don't want to put 20 indicators on your chart to confuse you, this is my go-to morning setup. It played out again today. I'm doing this video almost in real time. It's just a few minutes before 10:30, but this trade played out again today in a half hour's time. It's super simple. I've done another video on it, which you can check out in the link I'll put on the screen at the end. It's got over 50,000 views, and it's basically because this trade works over and over. There is a cheat sheet that I've done to the trade that walks through it step by step. If you want the cheat sheet, just comment works in the comments and I'll get that to you for free. Again, it's super simple. You don't have to put a bunch of indicators on your chart. I'm going to go through it again in this video. And like I said, I've gone through it in a couple now, but I'm going to go through it step by step again and show you what I look for. One of the questions I had was, what kind of profit target do I have in the trade? And the problem is that isn't an easy question to answer because it depends. I'll show you what I was looking for this morning, what I said to my Discord group at Trade Your Edge that I was looking for. It's a little different than what I look for in other videos, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But here's the trade. Again, this is the pre-market. This is the Qs. This is a 2-minute chart. Okay. This is the pre-market high for me is going to be here. It's essentially at 566.83. I do not use this candle at the open of the pre-market, which for me is 4 a.m. Eastern time, United States, right? 4 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. That's my pre-market. I'm going to disregard this large candle that appeared at 4 a.m. I'm going to go with resistance, which again appeared, just call it 567, right? It doesn't have to be 100% precise. You can look at the candle at this time. The high is 566.98 over here. The high is 566.80, 566.86 here. I'm just looking for about what the support and resistance are in this case. Again, this is the Qs. That's my resistance pre-market. And I'm going to scroll over a little bit and mark my support pre-market, which basically goes from this candle, which has a low at 560.50. So this is my support area. Again, I'm not looking for to the penny. I just want an area for my power bar to start from. So it's this area around 560.50. Some of you guys have asked me if I'm using the wick or if I'm using the body. I am using the wick, and I want to put this near the low when I'm doing my pre-market high and my pre-market low. And now all I'm doing is looking for a power bar that originates near this level. It doesn't have to be to the penny at the level. It can be a little bit below the level, which happened today. It can be a little bit above the level, and that's fine. This is my power bar. These three bars combined, I'm constantly combining bars to get hairpin turns, to get power bar moves. In this case, I'm going to move this higher so we can all see it easily. All right, I'm going to move to here. In this case, these three bars combined make up my power bar. But there's something important at this level. I'm going to now move this so we can see it easier. As this bar got to this level, this is resistance here because of this candle getting near and this candle getting near to this price. If it's not clear, it's right around 562.07, 09. Let's call it 562. When this cleared, this was my buy signal. So this, on this candle at 9:36, that was my buy. And this is a trade that I did this morning. This was my buy as the Qs went through this 562.10 area. And what I did is I don't want to use this big of a stop, right? So I don't want to use from 562 all the way down to the low of this candle at 559.54. So here, right, I don't want to use that as my stop. So I'm going to go back and look to where it makes sense. There are a couple of places I could put my stop. I could put it here. It's this 560 area or 560.50, whatever this low is from this candle. Or, and this is what I did, I just put my stop right under this candle. So just a touch higher than a 560.50. So I was looking at like 560.80 around there for my stop. I used this candle right there that had a low of 560.81. I put my stop just under it. And now let me talk a minute about the target I was looking for. In some of my other videos, I've talked about a target of the pre-market high, but this morning when I was looking for a target, I did two things. One, I looked at where resistance was in the pre-market at 564.40, call it, and I looked at basically the top of this range around 565, just to make the number round. So remember that. I marked it at 565. That's resistance coming out of this base. And the other thing I did, I've also made a video about this a while ago, trading on pre-market versus regular market. So I knew since we had a gap lower in the pre-market that the 20 on the regular hours, we're still in pre-market hours here. This chart is still showing pre-market hours, but I knew that on the regular hours chart that the 20 is going to be falling and catching up to the market. Often at that falling 20, you're going to get a reaction. When we have a gap lower, you get the falling 20. When the market touches that, it's going to recoil away from that falling 20. So I flipped to regular hours. I'll make this readable. So I've left our lines on here, right? This is that pre-market high. This is the low of that pre-market base that I showed just a second ago. This around 565 is the high of that pre-market base. I'm going to move this to here. This is above my head, I know in the video. What I was seeing was the pre-market high here, which in some of my other videos I've said that is a decent target. But look at the falling 20. And remember, I bought here around 936. And I said to my Discord group that 565 was doable in the Qs. The reason I said that, and the reason I was looking for 565, which is this line here, The reason I was looking for that as a target is a little bit of geometry. By the time the 20 caught up to the actual price in the market, it was going to be around 565. Again, I'm not to the penny on this. I was just looking for the intersection, right? The market's rising, the 20 is falling on the regular hours. At some point, they're going to connect. When they connect, you often get that fall off from the market at that point. So that made my target 565. We got to that level. It was a little before 10. We shot through that level a little bit. Fine. I was out of the trade in half an hour. Another win for this setup. The power bar at the open, off of pre-market lows in this case. My target, again, was the falling 20 on the regular hours chart. When you've got a rising 20 on the extended hours and you have a falling 20 on the regular hours, you have to be aware of that. And it's easy to be aware of it because you know if you have a gap down, you're going to have a falling 20. If you have a gap up, you're going to have a rising 20 on the regular hours chart. And you can go back in the video and see the 20 on the extended was rising and the 20 on the regular was falling at the same time. Again, when those meet, you often get a reaction, and that's what we got in this case. So that was my target, not the pre-market high, which was up here around 567. Again, we may get there at some point later today. This is the live chart. It's now 10:42. But that wasn't my target this morning. My target was 565 for the reasons I just gave you. Again, this trade works over and over. I gave examples of back testing it in a couple of different videos. I'm going to link to the video that's gotten 54,000 views on YouTube. If you want the cheat sheet and you haven't gotten it, just comment works like this trade does in the comments, and I'll get that to you for free. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm also doing a workshop on Thursday. Today is Tuesday, September 2nd. I'm doing a workshop on September 4th on Thursday where I'll go over this trade as well as a couple of others. I'll put a link to that in the video description below. Hope to see you there. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit like and subscribe, and I'll keep making videos like this. Thanks for watching.